Alright, so I'm going to be trying out some Miracle Druid today. Miracle Druid was previously kind of a thing with Celestial Alignment, but adding in Anacondra from the mini set has made the deck a lot more solid because you don't necessarily have to rely on Celestial. You can have Anacondra and then clone it with Germination, and then you can just start ripping Miracle that way. Warrior is one of the few harder matchups because they always have Brawl, but I think we might be able to race that or look for Celestial. So for the moment we will fish hard for Anacondra because that's a pretty big pillar of the deck. But even if not, there's a lot of other things to do here. So for the moment the goal is probably to wait it out, see what the warrior's doing. Control, okay. Control will be a bit hard because basically we have to deal with both Brawls and Bear Off. So there's 3 cards that he's probably going to start fishing for pretty hard that can beat us. We'll probably save the Arbor Ups for Burst or to truly force removal. Keep Solar. Solar into Arbor Up on 6 at this rate could force some hard removal, and that's kind of the name of the game for me at the moment. Any way that we can dump that removal out of his hand. We have both the Cenarian Wards that we can use to pull that, and then we have our Germination Miracle turn, which will pull another one. So ideally we can pull all of this off before he draws into all of them. Overgrowth's good. We will absolutely rip that. You love to see that on curve. So next turn is probably going to be Coin, Solar, Arbor Up, and see if we can force some removal. It's going into his Brawl turn, so I think we'd be happy to see it actually. It may seem like, oh, it would be fine to just push for all the damage that you can get from this, maybe Arbor Up again, but I'd rather see a Brawl, because that's the true game plan here. Touch the second card in his left hand. He might have thought about a Brawler. We'll watch that and see if that was what he was considering. I guess we will just push with our Arbor Up. Not thrilled about it, but again, we're just trying to force that removal. It's also somewhat hard to turn down, 20 plus damage for no real reason, so we'll hit him, threaten lethal, force him to have the Brawl. Or at the very least, Bear Off and some form of clear. Wow, that was it. Okay. Not bad. Well, that didn't really show the deck more than Arbor Up and Solar against a Control Warrior that had no removal, so we'll try that again. That doesn't even show anything impressive about the deck, honestly. That's just Arbor Up crushing somebody who has no answer. Unfortunate for him. The mirror matchup's pretty interesting against another Druid. Assuming that he's going to Celestial first, we're going to be looking for a very different set of cards than normal. We're going to be looking for combo pieces specifically, and holding ramp like Nourish for afterwards. So we're kind of looking for Omu, Nourish. That's a thing that you can kind of do that's cute, is you can ramp for mana and play Omu, and then set him off, and you'll get all of the mana that you had filled up to that point. So if you're able to overgrow for anything, and then hit Omu, you'll be going very quickly after the Celestial turn. Of course, all of this is assuming that the other Druid is going to play Celestial, but it's like 2 days after the new expansion dropped. Basically, everybody's going to. We'll Hero Power Pass here, and just go real slow. I think I'm fine with hitting the Wild Growth, but again, the idea is to let him Celestial. If we need to, we will, but gives us more incentive if he does. Interesting that it seems like they were thinking so hard about that Hero Power. Can't imagine what else they'd be looking at besides a bunch of lightning blooms and stuff like that. Not that that tells us that much about their hand, honestly. That's most of what druids do anyway. He was looking at blooms. Okay. Nourishes. Okay, very interesting. Him going for mana means that he might have identified that he doesn't want to... Yeah, he might have realized that he doesn't want a Celestial against another Druid. So if he's going to ramp, then I need to match his ramp. Although I'm holding so little draw that I might just have to nourish this upcoming turn. Very curious what he's holding here. Could be an Azoth variant. Had not considered that. That seems kind of unlikely. Against an Azoth, they're probably going to have a decent amount of greedy things, and it might be fine not to Celestial anyway. So I think we will just draw off Nourish and feel out the rest of the game. Okay, there's Anaconda. That's good. So now we're looking for ways to clone that specifically, so we can maybe fish with nature studies and get a feel for what's going on. The good thing about this mirror matchup is if I want to go extremely wide, they have no real answer. Druid has nothing for that. Are we going to Celestial here? I think we are. And if we're going to do that... That's so awkward. We want to draw a lot with the... Yeah. We'll go in hard next turn. So I'm going to start talking through what I want to happen next turn, because it's going to get very complicated very fast. We're of course going to open with Anaconda. Anaconda is going to make it so that Innervate actually does its job, along with both the studies being free. And then we're going to hopefully use... I guess we need draw, don't we? We'll see what we pull off of nature studies, but we need draw first. The germination's good, but again, without draw, let's... Okay, we'll use the gadget for our draw. So we Innervate out the gadget. And then we get going with Lightning Bloom. So up to 2. We Omu into Growth. Things are about to get wild here. Okay. We Innervate again. We need to start moving. See what Nature Studies pulls. Another alignment could be interesting. We could set him back. We'll Bloom again. We'll just assume that next turn's a bust. Draw with Nourish. That's the actual cheap one. We're at 10 cards. So we want to Solar our Cenarian on 2. We want to Solar our Cenarian again. We want to get as tall as we can. So we're going to Arbor up. Let's pop that. Get in there with face. I think we're just gonna pass there. Yeah, missed a damage, but the board is so wide that it honestly doesn't matter. Yeah, okay. That was a much better showcase of how the deck pops off, so hopefully you guys have good luck with that. I think it's an interesting deck.